Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to learn about prime factorization. So let's begin. Our lesson objective for today is we are going to express composite number as a product of its prime factors, and our S2S steps to success for today is the first one. We are going to start with number 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending on the number later on. Step 2, we are going to carry on branch out. I like to use this term branch out. I'll show it to you later on. And our last step for today is we are going to stop when the numbers are prime. So what are prime and what are composite numbers? So let's just quickly recap our lesson from last week. Prime is, for example, if we have, um, say for example, I'll choose number 2. As simple as that, 2. So to find out whether number 2 is prime or composite, remember the steps. The first one is we're going to write down a big letter F, so we know that we're looking for factors. Then start with number 2, because we want to know if 2 is prime or composite. Then remember, we're going to always start with number 1, because we know 1 times 2 gives 2. So can you think of any more numbers that when you multiply them together gives 2? What I'm asking is, can you think of a number times a number gives 2? You already have 1 times 2. So do we have 2 times something gives us 2? No, we don't. Because if we do like 2 times 2 here, 2 times 2 is 4 and not 2. So that is wrong. Alright? So far, we know that 1 times 2 is 2. So the factors of 2 are 1 and 2 only. So there are 2 factors of 2. So the answer is whether 2 is prime or not. Yes. So 2 is prime number. So what is prime number? Prime number are those numbers that has 2 factors only. That is 1 and itself. Composite. So what are composite number? So let's say, for example, I'll just take as simple as number 4. Then we're going to find out the factors of 4. As usual, write down a big F there. So we know we're going to find factors of 4. Then start with 1 times 4. Then think of any of the numbers when you multiply them together gives 4. So we have started with 1. Then we're going to start with 2. 2 times what gives 4? 2. So we know that 2 times 2 gives 4. Can you think of any numbers that when you multiply them together gives 4? Any other number? Say, how about 3? Do we have 3 times something that gives us 4? No, we don't. So we stop right there. Oh, hang on. How about 4 times 1? Now, 4 times 1 is the same as 1 times 4. So you do not need to repeat this. 4 times 1 is the same as 1 times 4. So you do not need to write that down again. So the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. So there are 3 factors. 1, 2, 3. Many factors. So when we have many factors, we call it composite. So those are the main key points that you need to know. What are prime and what are composite? So prime is when there are only two factors, one in itself, and composite is when the number has many factors. So let's go straight to example 1. Express 24 as a product of its prime factors. So let's begin. So 24 as a product of its prime factors. So step 1 is to start branching out. Do you know what a Christmas tree is? I'm just going to draw very quickly. A Christmas tree looks like this. Like something like that. So we want to make sure that our product of prime factors looks like this later on. I will show it to you later. So 24, we can start with 2 times what gives 24? Can you think of any numbers? 2 times what gives 24? That's right, 12. Now, 2 is already a prime number, so you do not need to further branch out. This is what I call branch out. This thing is called branching out. Okay? So you do not need to branch out number 2 because 2 is already a prime, like the example we did in the previous slide just now. But how about 12? Can you branch out 12 further? What times what gives 12? What number times what number gives 12? All I can think of is 2 times 6. Now, 2 is already a prime. So it helps if you circle out the prime. So this is prime. This is prime. Now, how about number 6? So for number 6, yes, you can further branch out into what number times what number gives 6. The easiest way is starts with 2. So 2 times 3. So as usual, 2 is already a prime number. So let's circle that number. Now, how about number 3? Is it a prime? Yes, number 3 is a prime, so you can circle that out. So your answer should be, remember the keyword is product. So when you see this word product of its prime factors, you know your answer will include multiplication. So your answer is going to be something like 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. All the number that you have circled because those are prime factors. So the answer is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Can you see how this working looks like a Christmas tree? That it branches out like a tree. Yeah. So moving on to the next example. Example 2, express 15 as a product of its prime factors. So let's just write down 15 over here. Remember, we want it to look like a Christmas tree. So we first branch it out. Now, you can always start with 1 times 15, but then it's the same thing because you need to branch out 15 as well. there's a 15 here and there's a 15 here. So there's no point of you starting with number 1. So let's erase that. Now, how about number 2? Is there such thing as 2 times a number gives you 15? 2 times something gives 15. Do we have that? Do we have 15 in times table 2? No, we don't. So which means we cannot start with 2. How about number 3? Can you think of a number 3 times something? Or 3 times a number gives 15? Is there 15 in times table 3? Yes, there is. So we have 5. So 3 times 5 gives you 15. So the answer, we know that 3 is a prime number and 5 is a prime number. So we're just going to circle the prime. And that's it. We remember step 3 is we stop when all the numbers are prime, because if you branch this out again, you will have exactly the same, 1 times 3. And then you branch this out again, 1 times 3. And then you branch this out again, it's 1 times 3. It's the same thing. You will never get to the end of it. So same goes to number 5, 1 times 5. And then if you branch this out again, it's 1 times 5. Branch this out again, it's 1 times 5 until, I don't know, the end of the world, I guess. So we're just going to stop right there because number 3 and number 5 are prime numbers. So the answer is, the answer is 3 times 5. Example 3. Express 30 as a product of its prime factors. As usual, we're going to write down 30 right over here. And then we're going to start the branching out. As usual, like I said, you can start off with 2 or you can start off with 3. Now, since this is 30, so let's start with 3. 3 times what number gives 30? So 3 times what number gives 30? Can you think of a number? You can check your timetable chart as well. So it's 3 times 10. So we know that 3 is a prime number. So we're going to circle that 3 and we're going to stop there. Next, we can branch this out again. What number times what number gives 10? There is 10 in times table 2. So you can write down 2 here. 2 times what gives 10? I'll just write this down here. 2 times what number gives 10? So that's, you can check your timetable, or if you know what it is, the answer is 5. Now, we all know that 2 is a prime, so let's circle that, and we all know that 5 is also a prime, because you cannot further branch this out into smaller numbers, because there are only 2 factors for prime numbers. So the answer is 2 times 3 times 5. I am just taking the numbers that we circle right here. So it's 2 times 3 times 5. Now it's time for you to try. Express 18 as a product of its prime factors. So you can start with writing down 18 and branch it out. Let me give you a clue. You can start with number 2. 2 times what gives 18? 2 times what number gives 18? So what I got is 9. Now, 9 is not a prime number. Hold on, let's just circle this 2 because we know it's a prime. Then 9 is not a prime number. So we need to branch it out further. So what number times what number gives 9? Where is 9 in times table? 2 or 3? What number times what number gives 9? All I can think of is 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. And we know that 3 is a prime. And also 3 is a prime. So we stop right there. So the answer is 2 times 3 times 3. So let's just quickly recap our lesson objective and our S2S for today. Today we are expressing composite number as a product of its prime factors. When you see these two words, product and prime factors, you know your answer is going to involve times. And then our S2S for today is first we're going to start with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and then we're going to carry on branch out. We want it to look like a Christmas tree, something like that. And then we are going to stop when the numbers are prime. Now remember, circle when the numbers are prime. I have included today's exercise in your home learning pack. It's labeled as prime factorization, and I've also labeled today's day and date. You can use pen or pencils to answer it, and please show you're working. And if you have any questions or problem, you can always contact me on my WhatsApp number privately. And that's all for today. Good luck, everyone. Goodbye.